Recordings in progress. We're going to talk about objection handling. We're going to talk about objection handling today. So whenever I talk about objection handling, though, before I get started into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of objection handling, I always start with a point about objection handling. And I will forever, anytime talk about objection handling, always start an objection handling conversation the same way. And any of you that have been around me for any period of time know what I'm going to say. The best way to handle objections is what? What's the best method of handling objections?
Never get one.
Don't get them. Best way of handling objections is to not get them. Well, Robert, what the hell are you talking about? Nobody knows. Here's the thing. Mike Ferry says this all the time. There's a direct correlation between the quality of your presentation and the number of objections you get. So before we get into handling objections, I want to take a moment to make sure that you are taking your listing presentation practice to another level. Because if you strengthen your presentation, you will get less objections and therefore won't have to worry about handling them. So before you start working on handling objections, work on the presentation. Always work on the presentation. So take your presentation to another level. Your pre-qualifying to another level. Asking questions, everything up to the very end when they actually have an objection, get all that stuff down first. Okay, so I will always start any objection handling class with that one very important point. Okay, don't start with the objection handling learning. Work on the presentation first. But we're going to get objections. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about objections. So here's what I wrote down. You're not getting the business you want because you're not closing enough. You're not getting the business you want because you're not closing enough. Now, we've all heard these numbers before, right? Where only, you don't have to write these down. You can if you want to, or you could just listen. They say in sales, only 3% of sales happen after the first close. Only 3% of sales happen after the first close. 5% after the second close. 8% after the third close. 13% after the fourth close, and 81% after the fifth close. It's the chances you have to close a deal. You only have a 3% chance of closing after the first, only a 5% after the second. Then all the way after the fifth is when you get to the 81% chance you have to close the deal. So this is why we have to close often. And anytime you hear an opportunity to close. We talk about this with the script sometimes. Hey, this script might be long. You might have to go through this entire script. Or if you get a buying signal after the first part of the script, close. So give you an example. What's the first opportunity you have to close in a listing presentation?
The 1 minute?
The 1 minute. 1 minute in, I have a chance to close. Do you absolutely have to sell your home? Do you want to price your home sell? Do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? Do you want me to handle the sale for you? Great. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want the time that you want. Won't that be great? I just closed. Now, do most of them say, yeah, go ahead after the 1 minute, or do they want to hear more? They want to hear more. Thank you, Marticela, for putting that in the chat box. Otherwise, we were just going to have awkward silence until somebody responded. They want to hear more, but at least you got the first close out of the way. As you're going through the process, then you have the second opportunity to close, which is based on what you see tonight. I'm going to recommend a price of $850,000. Will you list with me at that price tonight? There's my second opportunity. Sometimes they say yes. Sometimes they say no because they want to talk about commission. They want to talk about, no, they want a higher price, X, 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 X. You're not getting the business because you're not closing enough. Always remember that. So that's part of objection handling. Now let's get into objection handling techniques. I want you to write down number one, agree / approve. First part of objection handling is agree / approve. Agree / approve. Never correct them. Never contradict them. Never disapprove. You're always agreeing. They give you an objection, you agree, you approve. First of all, you repeat. Let me back up. You repeat, you agree, you approve. Never correct, never contradict, never disapprove. Now, let's be honest. If they say something that you know for a fact is wrong, is it easy or hard to not correct them? If you know for a fact they say something that's inaccurate, is it easy to not correct them? Or do you have to fight it?
I think you have to fight that feeling.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Yes. You have to fight it. You know, I just want everybody to know. I don't know if you're familiar with how some of this process works. If I ask a question, you are more than welcome to respond to the question that I ask. I don't know if everybody knows that. Okay, so just now that we're clear on how question asking works, maybe we should do a class on question asking and responding. I just imagine some of you at a listing presentation. Well, what's going on with the market? And then you just freeze, right? Go ahead and respond. It's okay. It's tough. You have to fight it sometimes. If they say something you know is wrong, you want to just go, that's not right. That's wrong. Fight it.
Hey, Robert.
Yes, Michael.
Can we use the Will Smith close?
You can, but don't call me to bail you out. Don't call me to bail you out. No way. You're on your own, right? You have to fight it. Never correct, never contradict, never disapprove. Then I want you to write down, ask 2 questions. Repeat, number 1. Agree and approve, number 2. Ask 2 questions, and then close. Steps of handling objections. Repeat, number 1. Agree and approve, number 2. Ask 2 questions, close. See, here's what you have to understand about objection handling. Sometimes people say objections because they feel like they have to. Yes or no? Yes or no? Do people sometimes just give objections because they feel like they have to give some sort of pushback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Right? We've all done the same thing. We've all done the same thing. Anyone that's ever been to a swap meet, a garage sale, right, of any kind. How much is this? $1. I'll give you 50 cents. No, $1. All right, fine. It was worth a shot. Right? You just, okay, it's $1. Okay. You do that with anything. Contractor comes out, they want to do some remodeling. They say, all right, it's going to cost you about, $10,000. Well, you know what? I should try to get them down a little bit, right? I should try to maybe tell them I have a friend in the business. I should try to do something. So sometimes they feel like they have to give you an objection, but a lot of times they forget about it. So this is key for objection handling. Don't feel like you have to handle the objection immediately, first of all. And secondly, never jump right into why that's wrong. So let me give you an example. You're at the listing presentation. You sit down. Great. I wrote down 3 real important questions. And they say, well, before we get that, let's just get to the commission. We want to make sure you cut your commission. Don't jump into the, well, okay, let's talk about that. No. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we'll certainly get to that. Let me just go through the rest of my notes. Is that okay? Yeah, it's okay. Great. Number 1, do you absolutely have to? And if you go through the presentation, sometimes at the very end, they forget. They don't bring it up again. And then at the end, they might say, oh, damn it, I forgot to ask about the commission. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Right? So don't always think that you have to handle it right then and there. And then they say commission. Well, all right, well, let me tell you about the commission. Oh, hold on. Repeat, agree, approve, ask 2 questions, close. Okay, we're going to go over some examples on that. But always continue pushing forward. Never stop your presentation. Never stop your prospecting to handle the objection right away. Get through the presentation. A lot of times they will forget. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to list it for anything below 950. Okay, not a problem. I get it. So let's just keep going through the process. Do you know how buyers determine value? And then you go through the comps. All of a sudden they see the comps, and then you suggest 925, and they saw the comps, and they go, yeah, I guess you're right. 925 works. Happens all the time. But when you get in a fight, when you get an objection fight, that's when you lose. That's when you lose. When you get an objection fight, that's when you lose. So don't get right into it. So I wrote down here next on objections. Think like, this is what Ron Cronin used to teach about objections. Always think like a boxer. Okay? They're throwing punches at you. Those are objections. You just let it go, keep going, let it go. They're going to keep throwing stuff at you. You just got to keep going. You got to keep going. If you let each objection hit you, you're going to get knocked out pretty soon. Oh, they hit me with the commission. Okay. Okay. Well, here's the commission. Okay. Now they hit me with the price. Okay. Let me talk about the price. Oh, they hit me with a friend in the business. You keep taking hits. You're going to wear down. They bring up the commission. Let it go. Keep going with the presentation. They talk about price. Let it go. Keep going with the presentation. Can't keep taking hits. As Ernest says, keep control of the conversation. All right. So let's talk about repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, close. So repeat could be like, we want you to cut your commission. Oh, I understand. You want me to cut my commission. That makes a lot of sense. So let me ask you, when would you like your first offer? Well, 2 weeks. Okay, great. And you do want a proactive agent on your side, right? Right. Great. Then all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great? See, I don't have to answer the objection every single time. Repeat, agree, / approve, ask 2 questions, close. Repeat, agree, ask 2 questions, close. Repeat, agree, ask 2 questions, close. Okay. As long as you can do this, you'll be unstoppable. So, all right, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of fun. Unmute yourselves. Come on, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a little bit of fun.
Let's do it.
We're going to have a little bit of fun. Okay. I want everybody to say repeat on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Repeat.
Okay. Say agree. 1, 2, 3.
Agree.
Ask 2, and then ask 2 questions. 1, 2, 3.
Ask
questions.
And then close. 1, 2, 3.
Close.
All right. There we go. We got it. Okay. Now real fast. Repeat, agree, ask 2 questions, close. 1, 2, 3. Repeat.
Agree, ask two questions and close.
Oh,
All right, now we're getting it. Does anyone have
Robert.
heart palpitations yet?
I'd like to share one thing.
Yes, Iris.
Friday, I was meeting this homeowner. This mother and daughter, I have known them for over 20 plus 30 years, and they are super analytical. And they kept arguing with me about the length of the contract. So, and they said, so how long does it take to get home sold? So I answered the question. Then why not sign 2 month contract? You just need 2 months. And I said, how did you come up with the idea to sign 2 month contract? Oh, my tenant, he said, the home can be you're going to sell the home in 2 months. I said, oh, really? Your tenant doesn't even own a home. How does he know about selling homes? How many homes has he sold? And then they stopped and signed the contract.
All right, Iris. Woohoo!
job.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. I love it. There you go. Right? There you go. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Well, I'm going to have fun. You might not. I need a volunteer. Denise. Denise is going to volunteer. Thanks, Denise. Okay, so here's a couple of questions that you could ask, right? So I'm going to give you an objection. You're going to repeat, approve, ask me 2 questions, and close. Now you can come up with your own 2 questions, or here are some examples of questions that you can ask. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Denise, we just don't really agree with your price. We want to list it higher.
So I have to
Repeat.
repeat one of these questions?
No. Repeat what I said.
Oh, okay. Go
Okay,
ahead.
great. So you want to list higher,
Okay, so great. You want to list higher.
and then agree.
Yes,
That makes sense.
that makes sense.
Ask 2 questions and then close me.
Okay, so when would you like to have your first offer?
I'd love to have it in the next 2 weeks.
Awesome. And would you like the selling process to be easy and effortless?
Absolutely.
Great. So now all we need to do is just sign the contract so we can get you what you want, the time you want. Would that be great?
That would be great.
Sign right here, please.
Woo! There we go. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. Who's next?
Okay, I can do it.
Tess. Tess, you know what? Tess, I really want to, I just think your commission is too high. Tess, we got to really talk about that.
So I understand you're concerned about the commission too high. So let me ask you this question. If I could get you the pricing you're looking for and net you the most money in your pocket, would you sign the contract with me today?
I would.
Okay, let's go ahead, sign the contract. Sign the.
Ask me one more.
One more question. So aside from the commission, was there any other concerns you have?
No, just the commission.
So just the commission. All right, let's get started. Sign the contract.
Ask me one more of these questions.
One more of that question. Okay.
Yes.
Do
So you
want to net
repeat
the
it,
most
you
money?
repeat, approve,
Okay, so-
ask 2 questions, close. You ask me the net, ask me one more. So ask me another one of these questions.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Robert. Do you want to net the most money?
Right.
Possible?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. So does that mean I close you now?
No. One more question.
One more question. So if I can get your home sold in the next 30 days, will that cause a problem for you?
Not at all. Now close.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's go ahead, sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
Sign the contract, please.
All right. Good job.
Oh, so
good
you
job.
have to use the scripts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, you might not see, this is another way of handling the objections. You might not have to jump right into the script. You could just repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, and then close.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Somebody give me an objection.
Your home is not close to where I live.
My office is not close to where you live?
I mean, your office is not close to where I live.
Okay, Tess, my office is not close to where you live. I understand your concerns. You know what, Tess, let me ask you, if I could get your home sold in the next 30 days, would that cause you a problem?
No, but how are you gonna do that?
You know what? That's a really great question. And what's more important to you, results or excuses?
Of course, the results.
And that's exactly why you're going to list with me. So let's go ahead and sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sign the contract.
All
All right.
That's awesome.
Repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, close. Repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, close. Who else wants to go?
I do.
All right, Cherry. Cherry, you know what? I have a friend in the business that could always list with them.
That's a valid concern. And Robert, let me ask you, if I can get your home sold in the next 30 days.
Hold on. Repeat it. Repeat
Oh,
it first.
okay. Robert, I understand you have a friend in the business. We all kind of do. So let me ask you, if I can get your home sold in the next 30 days, would that cause you a
The
problem?
approval, repeat it first. Right.
Okay, sorry, the internet just cut
No,
out.
that's
Say that again.
ideal. Yes, that's ideal.
Okay, great. And you do want to net the most amount of money possible, right?
Yes.
Great. Well, in order to get you sold in the next 30 days and net you the most amount of money, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great?
That would be great.
Sign
That
the
would be
contract.
great. That would be great.
Sign the contract, please.
There we go. All right. Okay, we're going. Come on, who's next?
I'll
I
go.
want to
All right,
try.
I'll do.
Okay, hold on. I saw a couple hands go up. All right, Ernest, we'll go Ernest
Yep.
first. Ernest, that commission's just too much, Ernest.
Well, you're concerned about the commission. I understand. Most people are. If I could get you what you want for this home in the next 30 days, would that cause a problem for you?
No, that would be perfect.
Great. When would you like to have your first offer?
I'd love to have it in the next 2 weeks.
Perfect. All we have to do is sign the contract, then I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Wouldn't that be good?
That would be good.
Great. Let's sign the contract.
Woohoo! Good job, Iris. Iris, your price is too low. I want to list it for more money.
Robert, I understand you said you feel the price is too low. So Robert, let me ask you, if I could get your home sold in the next 30 days, would that cause you any problem?
No, not at all.
And would you like the process to be easy and effortless?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Terrific. All we have to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
Sign the contract, please.
All right, now we're going. Let's do one more. Come on, who else wants to go? Dave. Dave, you know what, Dave? I have a friend in the business, so I could always list with them as well.
Oh, I understand that you have a friend in the business. Let me ask you, would you like this selling process to be easy and effortless?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And would you like to net the most amount of money possible?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Now, why don't we sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want? Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
Sign the contract, please.
Woohoo! Good job. Is this making sense? We starting to kind of get it a little bit?
Oh, it's
Right?
This is genius.
It's really-
This is genius.
I know, every so
You're
often.
gonna just blow them off and move it right along.
That's it. Here's the thing, right? If you can get this down, repeat, approve, ask questions, close. Repeat, approve, ask questions, close. If you can get this down, you're going to solve 95% of your objection problems. Every so often, you will come up with someone that goes, but we didn't talk about the price. Okay? Every so often, you will say that, but I still want to list higher. 95% of the time, you're done. Because how can they argue with that? Well, you do want to net the most amount of money, right? Yes. You want it to be easy and effortless? Well, yeah. Great. Sign the contract. Oh, okay. But it's a process. So that's why you have to make sure you repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, close. Don't jump ahead. There's a system to this. Now, here's what I wrote down, though. When you repeat it as the way they said it. Well, I think your price is too low. Oh, okay, I understand. So you want to list higher. That's not what they said. They said your price was too low. Now, I understand it's the same concept, but don't miss a listing because of a little detail. Oh, I understand. You think the price is too low. That makes sense. Right? Well, I have a friend in the business. Oh, so you know someone who's a real estate agent. Don't do that. That's not what they said. They said they had a friend in the business. Can you please put those questions back up? Why? Yes, I can. And what I will also do is just share this in the chat box. Okay. All right, there you
Thank
go.
you.
Okay. So say it the way that they said it. Okay. Say it the way that they said it. That's the key. Because if you say it the way they said it, they also feel like you're what?
Listening.
Listening. They're being heard.
Acknowledging you.
They're being acknowledged. I'm listening. I'm hearing. I'm acknowledging your pain. Because an objection to them, it's a pain. It's a frustration. It's an irritation. And by repeating it back to them, it's like, I hear you. I acknowledge your pain. I acknowledge your frustration. And then you're approving, going, and I get it. Now, you're not saying it with that tone, but by doing it that way, you're going, God, I feel your pain and I get it. And then let me ask you 2 questions and then close on this. All right? That's the key. That's the key to all of this. Now, those are just sample questions you can ask. If you want to come up with your own, you're more than welcome to. But if you could just get for me, my biggest strength in sales is objection handling. That's my thing. Okay. It's just, I am not good at a lot of things. Okay. But objection handling, that's my thing. So we could do this all day and I could just follow this procedure and we could do this for like 4 or 5 hours and you wouldn't get me once. That's not me bragging or being egotistical of like, look how great I am. That's just me saying, if you get this down, you could do the same exact thing. Okay. Who here has ever gone to see Ron Cronin speak at any of the Mike Ferry events? Okay. So you've
I've seen
probably seen him do this where he walks around and just says, give me an objection. And he just walks around and then, because he's kind of a character, he's like, next, he does this, right? Like it's just the same process. It's the same process. Okay. Now, if you're handling objections for like 4 or 5 hours at a listing presentation, you have another problem. Okay. But the point is that's just getting the system down, right? Getting the system down. And here's the thing. When you go through these questions, as far as ask 2 questions, close, you could, if you find 2 questions that really work, just use those 2 because you're not using, it's not like, well, I'm going on a different listing presentation. I can't use the same questions. Okay. If you find 2 that work, just use those, but get that down. Okay. So there you go. All right. What I want to go over next on advanced objection handling, couple things that you can do that separate you from your competition, in terms of commission and also friend in the business, what you do differently, things along those lines. So I want you to write this down. Schedule. First of all, have a schedule. Second of all, print it out. Third, bring it to the listing presentation. Second, a specific updated plan of action. Put it together, print it out, bring it to the listing presentation. Third, a list of all the affiliates with their names, their titles, their companies, their phone numbers, their emails, and what they do. Put it together, print it out, bring it to a listing presentation. So what is that? Your title rep, your escrow officer, your transaction coordinator, your, the insurance person that they could call, a warranty person that they could call, a lender that they could call, anyone who's involved. If you have your own assistant, whatever the case may be. Now, I say to do this because this is by far my favorite objection handler at a listing presentation. Let's be honest. Do most people think all real estate agents do the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't think there's any
Yes.
difference between you and Jimmy John down the street. They're the same thing. So now you're at a listing presentation and they say, well, you know, I'm going to go with Jimmy John because they're only charging me this, or they're a friend, or whatever the case may be. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I perfectly understand it. Now, let me ask you, here's a copy of my schedule. It shows you exactly what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, I'm prospecting in the morning and blah, 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 all these different things. Let me ask you, did Jimmy John give you a copy of their schedule? What are they going to say? No, they didn't give me a copy of their schedule. Can I tell you why that makes me a little bit nervous? Sure, they probably don't have one. See, the downfall of real estate is that you're an independent contractor, which means you can come and go as you please. You can work when you want to work. You don't have to work if you don't want to. That's the beauty of being a real estate agent. Now, let me ask you, for your largest financial transaction, do you want someone who kind of has a come and go as they please mentality, or someone that's got a structured daily schedule? What are they going to say? What are they going to say?
They want
Structured
someone who
daily
has
schedule.
They want somebody with a schedule, right? Great, exactly. Now, here's my plan of action that goes over specifically step by step what I'm going to do to get your home sold. Now, let me ask you, did Jimmy John give you a step-by-step plan of action, or did they use a bunch of vague terms like they're going to do a ton of marketing? What did they do? What are they going to say probably? What do most real estate agents do? Do they have a specific plan of action, or do they just say they're going to do vague stuff like a ton of marketing?
They just talk.
Yeah, they're just vague. We're going to do a ton of marketing. We know a bunch of people, right? We're going to send it out to a bunch of places. It's going to be all over the place. We're going to get you tons of exposure. Vague. They don't have a specific step-by-step plan of action. No, they don't. So let me ask you again, largest financial transaction. Do you want someone who's just kind of throwing things out there vaguely, or do you want someone with a specific plan of action? Well, I want someone with a specific plan of action. Exactly. Let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's a list of all the affiliates involved in your transaction. Would you agree, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that this is a pretty large deal? Yes. There's a lot of hands that are going to touch your file. You should probably feel pretty comfortable with those people. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Here's all the people that are going to be calling you. Here's all the people that are going to be emailing you. Here's what they do. And if you have any questions, here's who you call. Did Jimmy John give you a list of all the people that are going to be holding your hand through this transaction? No. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me be honest with you. Based on where we're at so far, between me and Jimmy John, who seems a little more prepared to take your biggest financial transaction? What are they going to say?
You.
You. Great.
Me.
All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract, please.
Hey, you forgot to ask the question, would you rather have a real estate agent who's like a pit bull or a poodle?
There you go. There you go. Would you rather have a pit bull or a poodle protecting your equity? That is my favorite objection. Give them a copy of your schedule, because no other agent's going to do that. And I know no other agent's going to do that because I've been coaching for a while. And a lot of you don't have a schedule. So that means the other agent couldn't have given them one. A plan of action, every agent's vague. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. You know what the lamest thing real estate agents do? This is the lamest thing real estate agents do. We're going to put your property on 500 websites. Frustration I get when I hear that. No, you're going to put it on the MLS. The MLS is going to put it on 500 websites. Anybody does that. That's not exclusive to you or your company. That's not impressive. So you're going to give them a schedule. You're going to give a plan of action. You're going to give them a copy of all their affiliates. The largest financial transaction, they're going to look at the other person and go, they didn't give me any of this stuff. Then close. Did they send you a pre-listing package to give you some information before we got together? No. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, come on. What are we doing here? It's clear that one of us is a professional and the other one probably does this part-time. I'm sure they're lovely people, but this is a business decision, correct? Correct. Make a business decision, hire me, sign the contract so I can help you get what you want the time that you want. Won't that be great? Yes, sign the contract. So you have to be, sometimes you got to be a little aggressive. I wasn't mean. I was never mean to that person. I simply was telling them the truth. Did they provide you this? I gave them the opportunity. They could have said, well, yeah, they did. Of which I would be shocked. But the reason I do all three, just in case they do one. Well, they did give me a plan of action. Okay, cool. Good for them. But did they do a schedule? Nope. They give you the affiliate. Nope. Okay. I always have a chance to hammer them down. And then the last thing that I would say to ever bring to a listing presentation that gives you a little extra help like that is if you go on an expired or a for sale by owner, print out the listing. If it is expired, print out the old listing for sale by owner, print out the current listing on Zillow, whatever it is, get a red pen, mark it up, cross some things out, make some big circles, write some notes, and then take that and say, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you know, I saw your previous listing, okay, and I made a few notes. Don't give it to them, but just say, look, I made a few notes, and then put it down. So let's go and talk. All of a sudden, they're like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? This guy, gal just took my listing, wrote it up in pen. They got like, I mean, it looks like a bloody murder scene. I got to listen to them. Okay, sure. Tell me what I did wrong. Oh. He just tears their heart out. It's wonderful. Questions on any of that stuff? All right, very good. Okay, we could talk about objection handling. Well, I could talk about objection handling for a long time. But what I wanted to do today was really just get repeat, approve, ask two questions, close. I really wanted to focus on that. And the last segment there of a couple of advanced things that you can do to make yourself stand out a little bit more. There's all kinds of stuff we can talk about, but I really just wanted to focus on those two things today. Okay. Robert, questions, anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, Robert, this is Michael.
Yes, Michael.
Question. When we hear the top producers, most of the business, they get it from the database, people they know. When they handle the same objection, it's a little different than when you go to an expire to a person that you never know. What is the difference in the tonality? See, let's say there's somebody that you know, maybe a banker or somebody, comparing with just an expire. It's the same, right?
I wouldn't treat it any differently. Because your database, you're not the only real estate agent they know. So if I go in there and my database, my past client, my center of influence says, yeah, Robert, you know what though? But the thing is, that price, I wouldn't go, oh, come on. You know, I mean, we've worked together before. I wouldn't do that. I would say, you know what, Michael, I understand, you know, the price is a little bit of a concern. That makes sense. Let me ask you, if I get your home sold in the next 30 days, I would just do the same process. I wouldn't change my tonality, because if they were that convinced, loving, and grateful for me, they wouldn't give me an objection. If they weren't thinking about using somebody else, if they weren't questioning if I could do this correctly, it would have been a 1-minute presentation. And we've all had them, right? Anyone that's been in the business for a while. Some of you haven't been in the business that long. But if you've been in the business for a long time, you've had it. You've had those come list me calls. Yeah, just send it over. But anyone else, they give me an objection, that means they're questioning if I can do the job. So I'm going to treat it the same way. I'm going to treat it the same exact way. Everybody deserves the same level of energy and intensity, no matter who they are. And if a database person thinks that I was too intense with them, then I would just go back to them and say, look, it's just because I'm treating you This is a big decision for you. This is your biggest financial transaction. You deserve the highest amount of energy and intensity that I have. Wouldn't you agree? They were like, yeah, that makes sense. That's why you hire me. I mean, if you want, I can come in sweatpants and a t-shirt and hat on backwards and, you know, 6-pack of beer, and we can just hang out for a little bit and sign the contract. I mean, we could do that too. Do you want that? No. Okay. Come on. Now that we signed the contract, now that we've signed the contract, now we can go do all those things. Yes, Dave.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, I think it goes a long way too if you want referrals, because if you come in with that hat, you know, backwards and stuff, they're not going to send you to people that that they know.
That's it. It's a business. It is a business decision. As much as they loved you, it is a business decision. Very good. All right. Well,